What up, what up, what up, good people? Welcome to the ArtBeat, where we discuss all things heart, which we believe to be the heartbeat of our community. Here at the ArtBeat, we talk about all things art, right? And so I am your host, Cliff Latham, and I got my co-host Gralan early here in the building. And listen, we got some great conversation for you today. We're going to talk about, man, what are we going to talk about today, man? We're going to talk about the cost.
Yes.
The cost. We're going to talk about the cost of creativity, right? A lot of times people look at what we do as creatives and they think because we do it so freely that it's free, but
it's not.
It's not. No, that you said it the proper way. It ain't free, bro.
It ain't free.
Yeah, it costs to do what we do. Anything that you love, I feel like it should cost you something. But a lot of times people don't understand the monetary investment, the time investment, the energy investment that's required to do things, especially in a spirit of excellence.
Yes.
Right? There are ways that you can do it that are budget friendly, that are cost effective, but sometimes they don't lend the greatest results. However, when you are talented, when you are have certain abilities and you can barter, it can become a little less expensive, but nevertheless, it's taxing, man. It's taxing.
Absolutely.
Right. But listen, before we jump into that, I think we got to hit a hot topic, right? We about a week late, but you know, we only come on once a month. But
right.
Man, this whole Glorilla thing, man, what's your thoughts about her winning? She won, what award? She won the Dr. Bobby Jones Gospel Award. The Inspirational Award on BET. Man, what's your thoughts about that?
So, you know, I'm a believer, so I have to put that out there. So I believe that God can use anyone, however, you know, to change, you know, for his greater good and building the kingdom. So I think there's some things that you have to really look at. And one of the things is looking at, there's a gospel song. She created a gospel song.
Got you.
And then the other side is, but she's not a gospel artist
At all.
So, you know, winning a gospel award, you have to understand that it's an industry.
Yeah.
The gospel industry is an arm of the greater music industry.
Yeah.
And so
the gospel music industry. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so when you look at that, you have to say, okay, they're doing it for ratings. Yep. You know, she's hot in the secular, you know, market. And so bringing her over because she made a gospel song. Yeah. To have her there, great ratings, selling point, you know, for BET.
Definitely got some ratings.
Oh, for sure.
Because we talking about this thing.
Exactly, right? So I think some people getting some YouTube, you know,
yep.
You know, off of that. But so when you look at the two, I said, okay, you got to understand it's an industry.
Yeah.
Let's just face it, the gospel industry mirrors the music industry. Yeah. And so, and however you look at it, it's entertainment.
Yep. And you can't avoid the politics.
No.
No matter how much you want to, no matter how much Jesus you put in it, even the gospel music industry is very political, right? Yes. I had the opportunity to listen to the song this morning. I just listened to it for the first time this morning. And I guess from my honest perspective, even though it was an industry move and it was a selling point of her being an artist, the song just wasn't that good.
It wasn't.
So for it to win an award, and there'll be so many great gospel artists and so many people who I feel are worthy of that award because of their consistency in the genre and their work. And I get the ratings, I get the publicity and everything, but the song it wasn't even that high.
No. Truly, my opinion on it is that it was cool. I was cool with hearing Kirk Franklin like we normally hear. Has been, you know, someone in the industry a long time, and then Maverick City, and I enjoyed those parts.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of Glorilla.
Yeah, this was my first time hearing this morning, bro, and I was like, I'm a drummer first, so I'm big on syncopation. And this whole rapping thing, I think this thing started with like Silk the Shocker, man, probably 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, where people don't rap on the beat, and it
Yes.
irritates my bones, man. But yeah, I just wasn't impressed. Just for it to be able to win an award. And, you have those people who are saying that when the Christian community has an opportunity to welcome somebody or put their arms around somebody or win the masses, they say that we always mess it up because we, talking about who's not qualified to do what. This is not about who's qualified to sing gospel or to give praise to the Lord, because I don't know whether she's a believer or not. And I don't want to get into that thing because every man must examine himself. And me, I'm a Christian artist. I'm a preacher, but I write R&B and and love music, and I got some Southern soul stuff out there. It's not under my name, I wrote it for a couple of artists or whatever. But that don't mean that I love God any less. So it's not about her being a believer in my case, but we just talking about the quality of the song and it being able to win an award. That was kind of, even with the features, I'm talking about even with Kurt's part and Maverick City's part, there are so many more amazing gospel songs, even by those artists. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
So I'm not hating. I know who is it? Dietrich Haddon. He was getting some flack because they feel like he's hating, but I think he's just saying the honest truth, man. For that song to win with so many other people who have made meaningful and intentional contributions to that space. I thought it was definitely what it was, a political thing. Again,
sure.
I ain't necessarily mad at it, but
you can't be.
at the same time, I feel like we got to give it up to who's doing the work, who does the work.
Correct.
Yeah, man. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And talk about the cost of creativity, man. What's been your experience from the investments that you've made to do your music and those things as well, man? I ain't even gonna ask you how much it costs, because I know probably if we were to say that, our wives and stuff would probably be pretty upset or whatever. But just what does it look like for you, the investments that you make to do what you love to do?
First of all, is investing in, talent.
Yeah.
Even in your talent, being able to play lessons, constant, practices and finding people that can help shape you. And so with that, that's hundreds of dollars. On a consistent basis, just to keep up with your skills, right? And then you talk about the education part, where you go to a school, and what does that look like? I mean, for me, went to a music technology school, and so had to spend money, spend time. It costs in time. I mean, people don't understand time is money. You know what I mean? So just in that, and then the tools that you use are expensive.
Yes, they are.
Keyboards. Drum machines, computers.
Exactly.
Software.
Computer repairs.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, man.
So it is a taxing thing for a creator to pour into and invest in. I think I literally, probably no joke, probably invested over my lifetime easy over $100,000.
Yeah. Man, people don't understand the amount of, like you said, self-investment. Before we even talk about what we spend in cash, that outward investment, that inward investment. My wife can attest that there are plenty nights at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a voice recorder in my hand because a song just hit me, or I got to run out, you know what I'm saying, or run to the studio, or downstairs in the studio, or go somewhere where I won't bother her because this thing is just hitting me. So people don't know the time that it takes for us, then the time that it takes away from our families, because the reality of it is most of us are bi or tri-vocational, right? So we doing music really on family time, right? And so luckily my kids will come in the studio and kick it with me down there. But the reality of it is, people who don't have this passion or this drive, they get the chance to sit and watch movies all day. And
Yes.
I can start watching the movie and get inspired by something in the movie, and I'll be like, I'll be back, and they don't see me for the rest of the movie. You know what I mean? So it's just all these things that people don't see. And then, like you said, not to talk about the countless dollars that are spent, for programs, for monthly subscriptions to be able to do what you do. And that investment is enormous, but it's worth it. And let's keep it real, especially for those of us who are in like the gospel space. You're not making any money as a performer, right? First of all, church people barely want to pay you because they feel like, oh, you're not performing. It's for God. Well, ma'am, this thing that I invested in, this gift that I'm giving you, this song that encourages you or whatever, it does have value to you, and you don't know how much it costed me. Why you don't want to pay me 99 cents for a song? This song may have cost me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for this one song. To make this one song. It may have cost me upward even more than that for those who do it on a professional level. And you don't want to even give the person the 99 cents. You just stream it through iTunes, right? And so, man, people don't understand what it costs to do what we do. But we do what we do because we value the call, not the credit, right? If you were doing this thing for credit, man, boy, you be out of luck. You know what I mean? But because I'm called to this and I'm called for this, and I believe that what I bring, what God has gifted me with, is ultimately something that's going to bless the people. That's the only reason I can keep doing what I'm doing, because it's really not in my budget to do this.
Oh, it's not in mine either. But you said something great. And the great thing that you said, that you're called to do it, and it's for the blessing of others. And I think that any creator, I think it on some level have that. Their art is to help, someone or somebody or a movement of some sort to get down the line, or to just in healing period, right? And so I know when I'm creating, I now I'm more conscious and aware of the message from what I create that gives out to the people, because I think it's just something, you just got to be aware of, that we're not tearing down the community, that we're always constantly uplifting each other and people so that we can move,
I like
to
that.
a better space.
And I guess even just hearing you say that, some of the payment is just that, that knowing that you are making an investment, that you are empowering the community through positivity, right? Every song I write is not a gospel song talking about I love Jesus. Every song is not, right? There are other things that I do that are inspirational, again, love songs, or whatever the case may be. But again, it's about us knowing that what we sow into the atmosphere, what we sow into a person's heart, what we sow to encourage a person to trust or to lean in to God or the message of love or whatever that we're sharing, that really has to be your payment, because we have to do what we do for the love, not for the likes, and definitely not for the loot. You know what I mean? Because if you waiting on money for music, you will be waiting. In most cases, you'll be waiting for a lifetime and be disappointed at the end of it, right? But even my wife, because she does dance, I just see how much she pours into her art. There are times where, yes, she may go to school and she may teach a dance, but I'm seeing her with a notepad, and in my mind, I don't know how you can write down dance, but I guess, I've looked at some of the notebooks over the years, and it's crazy to see her write out a dance. You know what I mean? And what it means. But I've seen her do that for hours and hours when we talk about getting ready for a show. And so people don't understand that when you are a person and you're working for an hourly, but that hourly budget doesn't cover anything that has to do with the amount of time and the effort and the time away, again, from your family that you put into it. Most people who work a 9 to 5, when they get done with that, they done with it. So when they go home, they done. I can't cut my brain off from music.
Nope.
Not that I want to, sometimes I admit, sometimes I be like, man, I wish I could just relax, but man, music is always in my head. Something artistic is always in my head, developing, exploring, exploding, and
It's
trying
in
to
you.
get out.
It's
Yeah,
in you.
man.
It's in you.
And it always has to come out. Let's, even as we kind of shift back to the whole Glorilla thing, and people saying that she didn't deserve those accolades. I think it comes this thing for us as minstrels. As we do this, we've got to make sure that we know that it's ministry versus the industry. And although she won that award, a lot of church people are offended. You got to understand, like you said, that's the industry.
Yeah,
that's not ministry. And even though that song was labeled gospel, it doesn't necessarily speak for the gospel community. So we got to make sure we don't get that twisted. But that is what it is. I'm gonna leave that thing alone. Let's move into this other thing, man. That we have going on coming up. Is it the end of the month? Or no, it's next month.
It's next month.
Yeah, man.
So Fulcrum Entertainment with Our Neutral Voices is teamed up to provide a studio experience, and we're calling it the Sessions.
Okay.
Studio Sessions, and it's truly about bringing the community together through music, creating an experience, a studio experience where we take 5 artists in there, we write and we produce something, an anthem for the community.
Got you.
And so I'm excited about it. This is a couple times go around that I've been able to bring a project like this together. And it's so powerful. The first time, some people might know, I did the Capital Campaign song called We Need More Hands for the rescue mission when they was in the Capital Campaign phase of building that new rescue mission downtown.
Sweet.
And so worked with tons of artists. It took a couple years to actually do it. And so to kind of think about what that project is kind of like is it was more like We Are the World kind of song that coming together.
Yeah.
And of the community and standing behind, look, we need more hands, to help each other, help the community, and be, the city on the hill. And that was kind of the premise behind that.
Gotcha.
And so I'm kind of duplicating that, but I want to use different artists who may just in the shadows, and kind of help push them to the forefront, and give opportunities. And so through the sessions, they'll be able to again to build this community song, and we can be truly in community with one another within the sessions, and we'll be documenting everything. And so stay tuned. That's July 12th. We'll be in the studio. This Friday ends the submission. So if you want to participate in that, go to my Facebook page. It's on the top of it, already pinned it, and leave a voice recorder, a video, or something that we can see your talent in.
Show us what you got.
We'll be making selections in this next week. You'll receive a golden ticket for the session, ticket. And then you will have, after when you receive that golden ticket, you'll have all the instructions of how to prepare for that session on July 12th.
I like something that you said, man, kind of picking out people who may be overlooked or may not be in the limelight, because we do have some incredible people around Fort Wayne who have been doing some amazing music for years, but there are a lot of upcoming that people aren't necessarily aware of. So we encourage you guys to go. Give us a spelling of your name so that everybody.
It's Gralan, Gralan, last name Early, Early. Just look me up. I'm public. You can just go on that Facebook page, submit your talent, and hopefully we choose you and you get that golden ticket.
All right. So if it's 5 artists, you need to make sure. When is the deadline?
This Friday.
The deadline is this Friday. It's going to be an awesome opportunity to work with Gralan and others to see something come alive that represents our community in a great and outstanding way. Can you give us a little insight about where we're going to be at?
We're going to be at Silver Birch Studio. It's a private studio that's owned by Steven Tyler, and it's a great studio.
I've seen it, y'all. Listen, Gralan has told me about it, but he won't take me there. So That's a running joke that we have. I still haven't been there. I've seen pictures online. And it looks amazing. But Gralan gatekeeping. So for y'all who got them 5 tickets, for those of you who got them 5 tickets, y'all tell me about it. Nah, we gonna be there. Nah, but tell them about the studio, man.
Yeah, the studio is one of a kind. I think it rivals the best studio in this area. I would put it to say that it is the best studio in the area.
Wow.
And it is no, putting down. Sweetwater got a great studio. I've worked out there before, but it's a little different.
Got you.
It's a little different. It's a little intimate.
Got
and
you.
so it's secluded. It's surrounded by 5 acres of woods and land. It's a clean campus. So there's no drinking, smoking, or anything. It's all about nature, healing, and really getting in the vibe. And so it's one of Fort Wayne's best kept secrets. And it's great. There's many options to change the sounds of the room, and every inch of this studio is used. When you first walk through that door, you're walking in a booth.
Wow.
Yeah, like so we utilize that space. It's able to handle all and every need for recording, from string ensembles down to full band, down to just even, a track and an artist. So
okay. I like something you said. You said that it's one of Fort Wayne's best kept secrets. So when we talk about these 5 people who could potentially be some of Fort Wayne's best kept secrets, what type of people, what type of artistry, what type of talent are you looking for? Who should submit and who should not submit? If that's a thing.
Yes, and it's been kind of going back and forth on, what kind of artists. Obviously this song is going to be a clean song. So any artist that is submitting.
Well, she did win gospel,
she didn't curse on that record though, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to have the, to be able to switch and really talk about some of the topics and stuff that we're going to get into.
Gotcha.
And singers, rappers, looking for, just unique talent that maybe spoken words, poetry, to kind of fit in that. It's really a blank canvas of what we painting. So when we go in there, we're going to have some prompts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Got you.
And so
can I just play a bongo or something on it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You already own it.
If I can just play a bongo or something, I can feel.
You already own it.
And if you still don't want me to come, I can play the bongos from at home.
No, I got you. But yeah. So we looking for all kind of talent.
Awesome.
For sure. Young, old, it doesn't matter.
So let me ask you something else though. So if we're looking for 5 artists from the production end, will that be a separate group of artists, or that's something that we're gonna just do in-house?
So I'm open to some musicians who might want to. So I'm calling out any musicians out there that may want to come and be a part of that. Yeah. I plan to have at least close to a full band in there and have that capability right there. So we're going from writing right to concept to almost full production.
Awesome. Is there a time frame on how long this session will be?
It'd be 8 hours.
8 hours.
So bring some waters, bring some snacks. We'll have some on deck.
Wheaties.
Yes, we'll have some on deck. So we'll take some type of lunch break in there and kind of break it up a little bit. But definitely when we first step in there, that's why all the pre stuff is going. When you get that golden ticket, you'll get all the information that you're going to need to prepare for that session. When we step in that studio,
it's go time.
Is introduction, boom, and go. And so the team is going to orchestrate who is going to be a part of that and how we place them. So it's going to be a lot of pre things going on after we choose who's going in the studio. So
awesome. I love the concept because we are not only presenting them with opportunity, but we are presenting them with excellence and how things are actually run in the industry. So, guys, I'm telling you, sign up for this. Is an awesome opportunity for you to be exposed to something greater than your bedroom.
Yes.
Because a lot of us, we are bedroom enthusiasts, and we record in our basements and our bedrooms, and that's cool. A lot of people make some amazing music and do some amazing things from those spaces, but to have the opportunity to go here to one of the top recording studios, I would say not even just Fort Wayne, but I've seen the pictures, and it's up there, even in the world.
Yes.
So it's a major opportunity also, for the things that Gralan has been able to accomplish, and myself and others that'll be partnering with it. I think it'll be an awesome opportunity for us to pull from the roots of Fort Wayne and see what's up, right, and plant them in a bigger pot so that they can expand, and then we'll plant them in the ground and we can flourish as a city, because we do have a lot of talent. We do have a lot of abilities that goes beyond what's seen. So that's our opportunity to pull you guys into something bigger. So make sure you go to Gralan's page and do your submission.
Yes, and I'll leave it with this, and a couple things is that definitely for artists to understand, obviously it's about the community, but more importantly, if you're going to operate in this space, you need to see what it looks like at his best.
Oh yeah, at its
right.
finest. Yeah.
And so when we talk about what it costs,
Yeah.
as a producer,
Yeah.
I need artists to understand, when I take you either in this environment, which is top notch, versus someone's basement,
Yeah.
you seeing exactly what you're paying for. And you said, hey, sometimes it comes at a cost. Your music may not sound well,
Yep.
put together if you always go into the basement.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big advocate. Hey, we got to get people off of YouTube beats.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with YouTube beats, but get with a real producer who can produce your sound.
Tailor made.
Oh,
nothing like listen, just like a tailored suit. There's nothing like a tailored suit. There's nothing like tailor-made instrumentation to go with your thought, your vision that's there. I'm like you. A tight beat is cool, but a tight beat ain't tailor-made.
No.
So yeah.
So
like
and just the experience alone to get them out and seeing that, and because of more of that, and they actually can say, am I really built for this? Am I saving? Because my first thing if I'm working with you, what's your budget like?
What's your budget? Come on, man. What's that budget? Because I can't invest all of me in everybody. There are certain people, there are certain clients that I take on, and I can give them a significant discount. Or sometimes it's people that I see potential in, and I say, I'm just calling you. So me calling you mean that's on my bill. But then there comes a point in time where you have to make an inward investment, and you have to invest in yourself. Right. And so I like that, man. So, man, that's our show for today. We hope that you all were inspired by some conversation about the cost of creativity, and whatever it is that you do, make sure that you find the value and that you place the value in what you bring to the table. Maybe you are the one that's providing the service. Listen, everything that you do can't be for free. Everything you do can't be for free. Listen, I love to give, I love to gift, I love to help, and I love to develop. But when I'm taking time away from my family, when I'm taking time away from my ministry, when I'm taking time away from my personal time, sometimes it's going to cost you something. So even when you're dealing with people who may be your peers or your friends, listen, man, invest in yourself, invest in them, because there will be a return on your investment. Well, listen, it's your boy Cliff and my boy Gralan, and we want to thank you for joining us today on the Art Beat. Peace.